Hello everybody, my name is James McCombs, and joined with me tonight in the booth is the one and only Koala. How are you doing tonight, Koala?
I'm good, my man. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty alright, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome into the Pocono Raceway Cup Series, where we have race number 2 on the schedule, the Diamond State 200 at Dover International Speedway. In Dover, let me tell you, one of the most exciting tracks to watch for, but also one of the hardest for these drivers to tackle. Take us through some of the most difficult things that it takes for a driver to have a good, consistent race here at Dover International Speedway.
Oh, there we go.
Alright, looks like some quick difficulties. We've got a couple of keys to victory to start out for tonight's event. For a couple of keys to victory for Dover International Speedway, some of the best things that a driver can do to stay safe in order to have a good run and try and preserve a great finish. The biggest and most important thing, at least in my mind tonight, has to be avoiding any damage on these race cars. And I know that you were in the race last night, Koala, and you talked to me just a second ago before we got on the air the importance of making sure that you kept clean, especially on these restarts. Just how important is it?
As like you said last night, I learned that very well. It's like getting in the back of the pack, you're not going to gain as much speed, gain as much time as you can. And our strategy call was a good call, but at the end, where we were at and in the race, it wasn't a good call. We were too far back. It didn't allow us to come back. So you getting damaged, you're going to have to come down the road. It's going to slow you down, and it's not going to have an overall outcome for you at the end of the race.
Alright, absolutely. That makes a ton of sense. Thank you so much for that insight. Second, and also very important, safe pit road entry and exit. I know that this track can be super slick on those low grip, especially on low grip tires there towards the end of the run. Is it really, really important to make sure that you get onto pit road without a speeding penalty, or is it not going to hurt you as bad?
Oh no, it definitely will, because of the fact that it's honestly the slowest pit road I think on NASCAR circuit. Between that and I think New Hampshire, but they're the slowest pit roads. You're going 35 miles an hour, and it's a long pit road. It's not like Bristol where it's double-sided and it's a little shorter. No, it's a long pit road. So if you have to do anything, you have to do a green flag pit stop and you get caught speeding, that's an extra 10 seconds that you're going to be wasting, and that's possibly could be another lap depending on what a leader is. So
Alright, so yeah, definitely a lot of difference made with a speeding penalty here. And then lastly, a strong and stable long-run setup. I know that these guys run custom setups here in the Valor Racing League, especially here in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series. So would you prefer to say that you want more of a fast, short-run setup and then sacrifice a little bit of that long-run speed to get ahead early, or would you want to have a more stable long-run setup to make sure you're running consistent laps on those lower grip late-run tires?
And that it all depends on how this race goes. And I mean, if you're going into this race like I did, my goal plan was to really save. That's really to think that I could make it longer than anybody else. And that also depends on how the race plays out. So if there's more cautions, then you know you're going to get a lot of short runs. If there's not as many cautions, save your tires, do the best you can, make it to that caution or pit stop, whenever that last caution or pit stop is, and go from there. Make your car the best it can. If you gotta make it loose, make it loose. You gotta do what you can with the amount of laps you got left. And this is a 200 lap race. It's not 100, so it is a little bit longer. Not a little bit, a lot of it. But it's a different race, so the outcome could be a lot different than what last night's was also.
Absolutely. So with that, you just brought up the distance from last night's race to tonight's. Let's take a look at the race analysis. 200 laps, 200 miles here at this 1 mile speedway. 34 to 36 laps on fuel, but these guys can make it 42 to 46 laps on their tires, so they're definitely going to have to worry about some low grip tires, but not to the point where they could burst on them. The banking here, 24 degrees in the corners and 9 degrees on the straightaway to help relieve a little bit of the tension from these high banked corners. This track was last repaved in 1995 and is the only track on the NASCAR Cup Series circuit to use a fully concrete surface. Do you know how much of a difference that makes in the tire wear here versus at some other places like New Hampshire or, say, a place like Bristol?
Because the difference is it's fully concreted, and honestly, in my opinion, it's wider than Bristol. It's way wider than Bristol, and I feel like the bottom groove is a lot steeper than Bristol's bottom groove, and you're gonna wear you're not going into a turn. You're not going to a turn and braking. You're going into this turn. You're letting off the gas and coasting through that turn, hitting the middle and going off. In Bristol, you have to use some sort of brake. That's gonna make you not go up the hill. So here it's kind of it's basically the same. It's just bigger and faster, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a ton of sense. So definitely a couple of things to look out for. And again, these guys using custom setups. They can go anywhere between using a stiff setup that's going to get them down the straights as quick as possible and hurt them in the corners, or they could use a soft setup, take a little bit more of the brunt from this racetrack underneath the car, but really be able to dig it down into the track in those corners. So it's all about how these guys want to be able to play their setups, how they want to go short run versus long run, and what it's going to take for them to really be up front when it matters most to have a chance at scoring the victory here tonight.
I will definitely say track position is key, and especially after I learned that last night, track position is key. If you're up front, chances of you winning are very high.
All right, thank you so much for that, Koala. You just mentioned last night's race. That is the National Series that we have here in the Valor Racing League, the Speedway Collective National Series, as they are our sponsor for the National Series. They are a fantasy racing site, and they help us out a lot here at the Valor Racing League. Also very important to note, Pocono Raceway, who is our Cup Series affiliate here in the Valor Racing League, they play a huge part in our success and some of our fan base, and they're a big help towards us all around. We thank both of those two companies very much for their continued support towards the Valor Racing League, as we are just now really getting knuckles deep into what is going to be a great season here in the Valor Racing League for our two main series.
Yes, it is.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back in just a couple of minutes here as these guys are finishing up qualifying right now for the starting lineup here in the Diamond State 200 at Dover International Speedway. The Monster Mile is getting ready to chew up some race cars and tackle some great drivers. Who's going to be able to outlast it? We'll find out in just a moment's notice. We'll be back with the starting lineup, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally back after qualifying has just finished up here in the Valor Racing League Pocono Raceway Cup Series as we get ready for the Diamond State 200 at Dover. Your starting order has finally been announced, and we are ready in just a couple of minutes to get underway for the green flag here at Dover International Raceway. Starting on the front row, the winner of last week's event, the number 17 Ford Mustang of Fluffy, whose paint scheme you see on screen after winning the California Dreamin' 200 at Auto Club last week. He will be starting on the pole with a lap time of 22.377 seconds. Extremely impressive, especially here at Dover. Starting outside of him is Slade with a 22.410 in the number 38 machine. Cola Motorsports starts in third in the number 20 with Mike RPM in the number 4 outside of him. Jason starts in fifth in the number 14 with Jose in sixth in the number 78. Celtic starts in seventh position in the number 88 machine, and on the outside of row 4 is Big D in the number 9. Titans starts in the 9th position in the number 8 machine, and in the number 96 on the outside of row number 5 is Jaw with a 22.351. Take away the second half here, Koala.
Man, I got you. We got Vega coming in at number 11 with 22.53, not bad. We got Burster in 12th and number 10 car. Baronate, number 6 car, we'll go with that. And starting 13th, we got the number 37 of K Taddy. He was starting 14th. Cyber will be in number 16. He's starting 15th. The 95 of Brennan will be in 16. Hello, fellow teammate. Hope you do good tonight. Runner, he's in the 48 car. He's starting 17th. We got Jocko in a 22, starting 18th. The double 7 of Max Boost that didn't qualify, and neither did the number 2 of MJO. Neither one of those guys qualified. They will be 19th and 20th.
And those guys could very well be wild cards. We saw just last week Max Boost come from not being able to qualify all the way up from 21st to 2nd in that race, so we'll look to see whether he can do something like that again tonight. Very much a wild card, those two guys, after not being able to put down qualifying laps. We don't know how good or how bad their setups are in comparison to the rest of the field.
And this plays another role into strategy right here. Yeah, these guys miss qualifying, but if you get let's say 15, 20 laps and there's a caution, they could pull that strategy and stay out, and we might get another caution right after that, and that could fall into their hands. So this is honestly, they might have missed qualifying, but this might not be the end of the world for them missing it.
Yeah, very well. They could have an opportunity to take advantage with that lower starting spot. But remember, 2 times wear here in the Valor Racing League, so definitely important to remember that these guys are going to have to deal more with tire wear and fuel consumption than they would in a regular race, especially since we're also only running 50% of the original length here, a 200-miler instead of a 400-miler. But still plenty of action to go around here tonight at the Monster Mile. So with that, in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to get into the lobby and get ready to go green flag racing here in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series. They are a Cup Series affiliate here in the Valor Racing League, and we'll be able to get some action on the track here tonight in the NASCAR Cup Series.
And we got green flag.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, loading into the lobby now. Unfortunately, it looks like we had a small error, but we're finally getting now into the loading screen and getting ready to go green flag racing here from Dover International Speedway here in the Valor Racing League Pocono Raceway Cup Series.
as I already have my part of the stream up. The stream's not going to be on his screen, obviously, but I can tell you who the current leader is. The number 17 car is out front with a 38 in second, followed by the 20 car in third, and we got the 4 in fourth. '17 car is making a gap, though. Ooh.
And there you go, indeed. I'm getting to see it right now. Fluffy looks like he's taking a very early lead. Slade still sitting in second, Cola in third, and that number 20 trying everything he can. And the number 4 machine of Mike RPM following closely as they head back down into turn number 1.
Slade's his car is good on the bottom. I've seen it. That's how he got around the 20 car just now. His car is very fast on that bottom lane. He can catch that 17 if he holds the bottom. He's looking a little loose. He's riding a little bit up higher than I thought he would be in 3 and 4, but he's doing very well right now. 20 car is also in the 4th position with the 4 car in 3rd and the 14 in 5th.
And looking back to 5th, Jason was able to hold on to his spot in the number 14 machine. And in 6th right now currently sits the number 9 machine, who we did not see sitting up there earlier. That was Big D, who started this one in 8th, so able to make up a couple of spots, even starting on that outside line, as now we see a pass for 2nd. Mike RPM looking low on Slade for 2nd as they head back down into turn number 1.
Yes, he is, and he's got the run. 20 cars give him that extra bit of drafting help. Not much drafting, as there's a low draft package, but that bumper push does help throughout the back. As a 20 car, it looks like he's struggling to maintain that right behind the 4 car, but he is going to pass 38.
Dover, definitely a place where these cars have a lot of trouble rotating. Definitely a little bit coming out of turn number 4. These guys have trouble rotating through the corner, even early on in runs, if they want their car to feel a little bit tighter. So I'm sure we're seeing a little bit of that happen right now with the number 20 machine as he tries to follow behind Mike RPM and snag 2nd place away before the long run starts to take hold here.
Fluffy is looking the gap, something that we did not really see yesterday's race. Yesterday's race, it was more of the top 10 together. They were kind of spaced out within a 5-second, maybe I'd say 3-second gap. But we have Fluffy pulling out. He's got a good about 2nd lead on these guys, and he's pulling away.
Absolutely. He's doing his part right now and making sure to try and keep this race clean by staying out of everyone's way and just driving away from the rest of the field. He's done a lot so far already. One thing to notice, Baronate 02 in the number 6 machine, driving underneath the number 88 of Celtics right now, started this one way back in 13th position and has already made his way up to 6th in that number 6 Roush Racing Ford Mustang. He's definitely got some speed in that guaranteed rate Ford today.
He does. He's looking very stout. Look out for him to be making that fast speed towards the end. He's making gains right now, and it seems to be he has a short run car as of right now. I'm not going to say that because, you know, obviously he just started, but if he looks like he has a short car run, you look out for the end of the race. He could be a problem.
Yeah, a lot of these guys right now sticking to just about where they started the race. One person to note that isn't sticking there right now is the number 96 machine of Jaw, who started this one in 10th. He is running much further back in the pack now, looking to see where he is on the racetrack, running, it looks like, right now in the rear of the field in his number 96 Aris Toyota Camry, but we'll look to see whether he can make an impact later on in the race as he's falling back right now. That setup not really working out well for him.
As we have one car in the 8 car, he looks like he might have hit the wall, maybe caused a little bit of damage, but he's off the pace in the back right now. We got a couple guys in this field that we know. 22 car looks to be off pace as well, in the back as well. So we got a couple cars that got caught in a little bit of an accident that didn't really result in a caution. But this is a long race, and that honestly really doesn't matter, especially with 2 stages in this race, or 3 stages in this race, so you know you're guaranteed at least 2 cautions, without, if not any others.
Yeah, and just as important, these guys are going to get a shot to be able to get bunched back up with the field once they go in and make repairs to their race cars on pit lane, and so they know that they'll have a shot to gain some positions on the restart, and try not to get too aggressive with it, but at the same time make sure that they can gather up some spots and try to make up some ground on the very, very quick leader right now of Fluffy.
Cyberon looking to make some gains right now. He's trying his hardest. He's making a lot of good. He's making progress. He's trying to make his way back up. There's a 37's looking on his inside right there.
This middle of the pack area, a lot of these guys really pushing one another right now, not necessarily making any contact, but definitely pushing each other very hard, making sure that everyone drives into these corners deep. Could be abusing a little bit of that equipment that they might need later on in the run to try and make up some ground. Running in this middle pack, you'll notice these cars getting a little tighter, like you mentioned, right at the very beginning of the run for the 20, and that can definitely hurt the right front tire over the course of the run and give these guys a lot less grip and speed over the course of that long run.
As these guys are looking, they're pushing, like you said, they're pushing very hard, and in most people's minds when they hear pushing, they instantly think that they're making contact. They're not. Like you said, they're not making contact. It is more of, if I'm driving aggressive in this turn, I'm gonna make sure you're driving just as hard so you keep your distance from me and you wear out your tires faster than I do. So it's gonna result in a lot of guys. It's just their stuff faster. Basically, that's all it is.
Absolutely. We see Fluffy right there passing by the number 8 machine of Titans. He's going to be the first car to go one lap down in this event with the damage he's got on that number 8 machine right now. Fluffy coming out of turn 4 to lead yet another lap in his 5th third bank Ford Mustang.
20 car is making some little bit of gains. I feel like that gap's closing just a little bit, not by much, but it's closing just a little bit at each lap. This is gaining like a 10th each lap, and that 4 car is also right there.
Yeah, these guys definitely have some fast setups behind them. Nothing to scoff at as we see Cola, indeed, possibly just closing in a little bit on Fluffy. But Fluffy, with that pole-sitting advantage that he had from the very beginning of the run, was able to drive away from these guys. We'll look to see whether he's got the long run set up to be able to stay in front of these guys, or whether they're going to be able to start to gain on him a little bit in their Toyota and Ford respectively. Mike, RPM, and Cola starting to look like they may be making up a little bit of ground on our leader Fluffy.
Yes, they are. They're making a decent amount of time. Like I said, it might be a 10th or 2 tenths here and there, but those add up as laps go on. So you keep on grinding it. They're gonna make that 17 push harder. And honestly, like you said, is the 17 saving anything? I don't think he is. I think he's running the fastest laps he can right now, especially with that lead. But that's gonna hurt him just a little bit, especially if these two are saving behind him. As the 8 car got a little bit high, he looks like he saved it. He's all right.
He looks to be okay. We see Birdster in the number 10 machine, the Good Food Challenge Smithfield Ford Mustang for Stuart Haas. Wasn't running well early, was stuck in the back of the pack, trying to slice and dice his way through the field now. In that number 10 machine, looking to try and get right now by the number 16 of Cyber K Bionic. Look for him to start to move up through the field just a little bit as these laps in stage 1 click down just a little bit more. And he's going to try to make up some ground on some of the guys in front of him.
Awesome to see Smithfield in that car this weekend. These guys, you know, Good Food Challenge. It's a great challenge and it's great to go for it. So, hey, look, if you want some good food, make sure you do a challenge.
Absolutely, and that was definitely a sponsor back whenever we got back to Green Flag Racing earlier on in the year due to COVID. We got canceled for quite a bit in the actual NASCAR Cup Series. Here in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series, these guys were able to provide some entertainment where there was none. And now that the NASCAR Cup Series season is over and Chase Elliott is your champion, you guys can turn to us for all of your NASCAR racing itches if you want to watch some more on television. Got a lot of very talented racers here in the NASCAR Cup Series and also in the Xfinity Series, which we call the Speedway Collective National Series here in the Valor Racing League. So make sure you tune in Monday and Tuesday nights so that you guys can catch all of the action here in the Valor Racing League.
Look, the 20 car is making a little bit of gain on that 4 car. He's widening his gap, not by much, but he's gaining little by little. I strongly think the 20 car has a long run car. I do believe he has a long run car. I don't think he's going to showcase it until he has to, but I do believe that 20 car might be a long run car.
And it does look like he's closing in just a tiny bit on some of the rest of the field. Definitely trying everything he can right now to catch up to your leader, Fluffy, in the number 17. As we take a look through the field, someone to take note of that's fallen back a little bit is Slay G84. Started this one battling up there for the second position, has since fallen outside of the top 5 after he got passed by the number 88, and it looks like he's struggling somewhat to be able to keep up with some of these guys in front of him over the course of the long run. What can these guys do on those race cars to try and fix not having a lot of long run speed?
I do believe the 38 might be on that short. I think Slade anticipated to have more cautions at the beginning of the race than he thought was going to happen, or at least a couple. I don't think he was anticipating to go this many laps, so he's going to have to set up that car a little bit better. Don't count Slade out though. He's always around when he needs to be. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely someone to keep an eye on as the race progresses. Excuse me. The car always seems to get just a little bit stronger after each pit stop, and you'll see him running a position or two further up on the scoring pylon as the race goes along, until all of a sudden he's battling for a top 5 or even for a win towards the end of the race. Clips the apron there a little bit. That's something you'll see a lot in today's event as these cars get a little bit more squirrely on these drivers later on in the green flag run.
A lot of clean racing. I don't really see a lot of guys bouncing off each other, which is the 20 car got a little bit into the wall there, but he's all right. I don't believe that these guys are racing a lot cleaner than I thought they were going to, and that's the difference in series is Xfinity or in general in between the lower series or the higher series. There in any sport, you obviously see the difference, and in the lower series, there's a little bit more mess ups, and in this series, you can see these guys stringing out, maintaining gaps. Yeah, they got a little bit of issues here and there, but they are maintaining and they're keeping this stage going. They're going to finish us out, I believe.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like they're going to finish this stage out on a pretty good set. These guys just have a couple more laps until they're going to have to make their way down to pit lane for some fuel. They're running a little bit towards the edge of that fuel window right now. Currently sitting just about 28 laps into the run. Just about 34 to 36 the amount you can go here on a single tank of fuel. So these guys, get ready. Green flag pit stops are coming up very, very shortly here in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series in the Diamond State 200 at Dover International Speedway.
Welcome back, guys, and our first caution of the evening has come out. As I cycled through to exactly see who the caution came out on, I don't believe I can figure out who the caution came out on, but there is a caution. I think the 10 car was actually involved.
It looks like the 10 car had to make his way to pit lane before the end of the stage due to not being able to make it on fuel, but it does look like that was actually the end of stage number 1 here in the Valor Racing League in the Diamond State 200. These guys were just able to scrape by on fuel, and now they're going to make adjustments to their race cars and repair any damage on their machines before they get back to green flag racing. So a caution-free stage number 1 here in the Diamond State 200. I'm as impressed as anyone.
I'm very impressed with these guys. Honestly, to go that long without a caution is very impressive, but these guys are the top dogs. They know what they're doing here. They're going to get ready to get set for this restart.
Absolutely. Fluffy was your winner for Stage 1. Cola, Mike, Big Destroyer, Baronate, Celtic, Slade, Giggity, Jason, and Cyber K Bionic, your top 10 in Stage 1 as we get back to green flag racing here in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series.
Getting to turn 1, I'm watching Slade. Slade's looking to gain a little bit more momentum. He's going to probably be a lot more aggressive than what he was in the first stage of this race. And I think that's just going to be due to the fact that he knows what the competition is going to be like now in this race. The 88 car looks to be experiencing some issues,
it looks like
Wi-Fi type issues.
It definitely looks like he's got some possible lag issues going on. And it looks like a wreck in turn number 1.
On the wall.
The number 37
looks to be the 37 and the 38 of Slade is also back there as well, guys. I don't believe that's a caution, though. I think they're still green.
Looks like for the moment they're still green, but if they come back around and that number 37 machine is still on the track, it could be an issue. As they make their way back down into the corner, everyone preparing to try and avoid some issues. It looks like the 2 and the 48 got into a little bit of contact with one another.
Is not out still. As Slade now, the guy that we all know, and is there a caution? I think there is a caution now. Yes.
Looks like a
Slade
caution has been
caught
called.
The worst deal of the end. He literally was back there dealing with him, and he happened to be in wrong spot, wrong opportunity, and now Slade is in the back of the pack.
Absolutely. It looked like wrong place, wrong time there, and it looks like a couple of cars may end up a lap down because of this issue, if not maybe more than one. It looks like the number 8 circling back around. He's going to be able to get his lap back this time, if I'm not mistaken. Already only 3 laps into stage number 2 here. This one's 78 laps long. These guys are definitely going to be having a little bit more of an issue making it through this stage now that they're going to have to play the pit strategy game after our first caution here.
So far as Jimster, who's standing out? I don't believe I have a favorite that's standing out. Do you have an actual favorite so far?
To me, it just doesn't look like Fluffy's going to get caught up to if he can stay up front here. If he's going to be able to stay in that P1 position as the race continues to go along, I think Fluffy is going to be your favorite here today for his second straight win to start the young season. But if someone else gets out front, it'll be very interesting to see. Definitely no favorite if Fluffy can't stay in that P1 spot.
Fluffy, he's looking very stout, looking very strong, but we all have seen in any racing, any type of racing, we've all seen how a dominant car could be at the beginning, then it could disappear right at the end. So he's looking good right now. He's got to showcase it a little bit longer for me to actually say that no one could catch him yet.
You bring up a very good point there. There's a lot of race left to go. These guys coming in now to their stalls, make some adjustments on their race cars, get some repairs done, and we'll see where they all shake out back onto the racing surface in just a moment. Jose in that far end box and Slade just now pulling in as guys start to make their way out of their stalls.
Looks to be that the 17 is going to exit out in the first position, with the 4 car coming out second. We got the 20, the 9, and I want to say the 6 rounding up the top 5.
And it looks like Slade, the last car off of pit road after having to do repairs to the damage on his race car from the incident in turn number 1 with Giggity. It's going to be very tough for him to come back from that. Not impossible, but definitely not easy either, as it looks like Giggity now makes his way off of pit lane. We get ready for the choose rule here, which we only saw come into effect a few times last week. How much more of a factor will it be this week here at Dover?
It would be such a key factor. The choose rule, honestly, in my opinion, is the best rule NASCAR has ever given. Let all the drivers pick their lane, not just the front 2. Let all of them pick their lane. And yeah, I might want to start on the outside, but I might be 5 or 6 cars back now. And that could also play a role. You don't really know who's got the speed in their cars and who's got the speed in certain spots of this track. And it could also be a fake. A guy could be going up there just to go up there and throw you off once they get into another turn. So
it definitely holds a lot of importance for these drivers. The choose rule into effect, a lot of these guys deciding to go on the inside line instead of going outside, knowing how much that track position can mean versus how much they can gain on a restart using this inside lane. So be very interesting to see how this restart shakes out as we get ready to go back green flag racing here in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series. Take it away, Koala. Well, looks like we've got some slight difficulty, and the number 17 machine is going to lead them back down for the restart as they come off of turn number 4 and make their way across the start-finish line and dive those machines down into corner number 1.
Yes, sir. 17 car dives into turn 1. 20 cars above. 4 cars making his gains on the inside, though.
Mike RPM getting a run down into turn number 3 on the inside line. Got underneath Cola, got underneath his skin too, it looks like, on that pass. And he's going to take over second as they make their way back down into turn number 1. Everyone thinning out here as they try and get single file.
And that's the difference between this race and last night's race. These guys are stringing out a lot more and faster than last night's race. Last night's race, it was more about who can go into 3 wide first and make it through. These guys know what they're doing. That's why they're top dogs in the pros. keep watching this because we're going to take note. This might happen towards the end of the race. We might see them racing cleanly now, but this is only stage 2. Stage 3 is still to come. And the end of the race means a lot more to these drivers than stage 2.
Absolutely, you bring up a great point there. A couple guys to take note of, though. The number 16 of Cyber K Bionic. Oh, and it looks like Cola has an issue coming out of turn number 4. Got into the inside
Cola
wall.
got issues.
He got into the inside.
Looks like some guys are going to slow up, but everything seems to be fine. We're still going green.
Looks like we do stay green. It looks like Cola's going to slide back to the 17th position on the racetrack for the moment, now battling with Vega Twister for position. Going back to what I said just a moment before, Max Boost in the number 77 Advent Health Chevy Camaro along with the 16 of Cyber K Bionic, both running in 5th and 6th right now respectively, and they're doing a whale of a job moving their way through the field. Brennan in 8th as well. A lot of these younger guys, look for them to make an impact on this race as this green flag run goes along.
These guys are still going side by side towards the back. These guys are double file, looking a little bit more aggressive in the backfield as the front guys are stringing out a lot more.
That's going to allow them to pull away quite a bit as well. As you can see, the number 20 of Cola trying to fight back, and here comes Big Destroyer in the number 9, Kelly Blue Book, Chevy Camaro for Hendrick Motorsports, trying to make his way up to Mike RPM to try and take a small look at whether he can get second position snagged away from the number 4.
I know I said it before where I didn't have a favorite. Honestly, that 9 car, he showed me a little bit of aggressiveness in that first, once his restart came back, and now he's got the speed. He's showing the speed. Can he get around the 4 to follow that 17 and chase him down is the real question.
Absolutely. Max Boost able to get by Cyber K Bionic in the number 16. He takes the final spot in the top 5 for the moment and looks to be closing on the number 6 machine as they make their way back through turns 1 and 2 and back out onto that harsh banking into the back straightaway.
Now let's not forget that, guys, this banking, it may look like it's steep, that's fine, but most tracks elevate into the turn, not de-elevate into the turn. Or I don't think it's elevate. But anyways, they don't descend, there we go, into the turn. And these guys are dropping 3 stories into this turn. We gotta remember that. And it's like a roller coaster ride, and you're doing it 3-4 times a lap.
Absolutely, and they're doing it with 2-ton stock cars. It is very, very difficult for these guys, and that's why I talked about a little bit earlier, the difference between a harder setup and a little bit of a softer setup. These guys can choose to take more of the absorption from diving down into the corner and having that car nearly bottom out on the racetrack, or they can choose to take a softer approach, have the car bounce a little bit more off of the racetrack, but that can give you a little bit less of a feel into the racetrack. So these guys have to play that game and try and figure out what they want to do with their setups before they even have to worry about things like tire pressure, track bar, wedge adjustments. That has to come first when they talk about building these custom setups here at Dover.
Yes, it does, man. And especially with me, especially in my first race yesterday, I learned that. I realized that all is very, very key. It might not seem like it's key, but it's very key on how your car is going to be in the race throughout the entire race. As we see the 9 car, he's been all over this 4 car for about 3 laps now, and I honestly think the 4 might be holding up him.
He might be holding them up a little bit. You see the 77 of Max Boost get by Baronate in the number 6 for 4th. He's got a lot of speed in that Advent Health Chevy Camaro.
Let's not forget, he missed qualifying. He started in 19th position, or back towards the back of the field, and he's up to 4th and making gains. His car is looking really fast, and like we said in the beginning of the pre-race show, the guys that missed qualifying, it didn't really matter if they missed qualifying because they could pull strategy cars if they really want to and make it to the front.
Yeah, absolutely. A tale of 2 stories. The difference between the 17 and the 77. You see Fluffy out front running better than anyone else on the track at the moment. This guy has a qualifying setup and a race setup for every single racetrack, or at least builds his own beforehand to make sure that he's got everything set up and ready for qualifying. Meanwhile, the 77 of Max Boost, working his way through the field, didn't even make it to qualifying last week or this week, still running in the top 5. So you have to question just how much qualifying really matters here in the Valor Racing League when you've got guys like Max Boost who are as talented as they come.
Max Boost is showing off his speed. He's showcasing his swagger right now. But let's pay attention to the 9. The 9 finally got around the 4 and is looking very, very fast. He looks like he's going to be able to pull away from the 4 car and chase down the 17. 17 might have a little bit of competition.
And it's going to come down to whether they can get to Fluffy on these restarts, because once Fluffy gets out front of these guys with no one to challenge him, he is gone. That 17 is so ruthlessly consistent, especially with how Fluffy drives that race car. So look to see whether these guys are going to be able to challenge him on a restart and whether that could result in Fluffy's possible downfall here at Dover.
If you want me to be honest about his downfall, it's going to be if anybody tries to pull a strategy car. Strategy is going to be a key thing in this race now because of the fact of how good the 17 car is. The 17 car has actually been the only car to pull away. There's no other cars in this field that can actually pull away. He's been the only one. So that comes down to now, can we beat him on fuel? Can we beat him on tires? You guys they got to think about that stuff because he's got a fast car. We can all tell that. 9 cars running him down just a little bit, but I mean, his car is obviously very, very fast. You guys are going to have to beat him on strategy unless, like you said, it comes down to a restart. Maybe the 9 car, maybe the 4 car could get him on a jump. Maybe the 77 could beat him on a jump. Hell, I even go with the 6. They might even beat him on a jump. So you never know. Like you said, restarts come into factor as well.
Absolutely. We saw last week at Auto Club, strategy really didn't end up becoming a factor. A late race restart with about 10 laps to go really decided who was going to finish where in that one. This race may be a little bit more strategy based, and that opens up an opportunity for someone to take home the win over the number 17 on pit road instead of out with speed on the racetrack. So definitely something to consider. Koala, the man with the brains on him, we can very much tell he is thinking ahead in this one.
As it always came down to me in any type of race, I always think ahead as in strategy-wise. If it comes down to the end, I'm thinking fuel strategy, I'm thinking tire strategy, I'm thinking of how I can beat the other car ahead of me. I might be behind them, but there's ways of trying to catch up to them. And whether or not that 9 car could be saving his tires right now, he might not be trying to catch the 17 right now. He wants to showcase his speed for later. That's also an option. It's a lot of things you can do as a driver in that car.
Absolutely. A lot of different things to think through when you're driving these cars, and that makes it so tough when you get a competitive racing lobby like this. These guys always have trouble planning not only for themselves, but plotting against one another as they get through this long set of a green flag run. We see in the middle of the pack here guys like Giggity, guys like Runner, the number 96 machine who we mentioned earlier, trying to work his way through the pack. We see Brennan falling back, the 8 making a comeback. Everything right now coming to head in the middle of the pack here at Dover. These guys side by side battling for position, jockeying off of one another as they continue to
38
run.
38 car in the wall.
Oh, and there's Slade. You just mentioned it. Hard into the inside and the outside wall. We'll see whether that causes a caution or not.
The Slade looks to be struggling a lot, man. He's struggling with that car. I think his car might be a lot looser than he's aiming for. I've been watching his camera just a little bit, and he's been a lot more sideways than any other car in this field. I think he's driving it a little bit too loose.
Definitely something to consider. We'll see how much he decides to tighten up that car, although that's hard as well because as these cars tighten up, the more you put wedge into the race car, the more you change your tire pressures to allow for these cars to be tighter, the harder it is to drive them through the center of the corner and the more time you lose through there. So definitely a little bit of give and take here as it looks like we have a couple of race cars that have exited the race due to some type of either mechanical or disconnection failure throughout the run. It
yes,
looks like
the number 14 is on pit road. He was one of those cars. I don't know if that's like he actually is still out, but he was on pit road at one point in time. I'm trying to scroll. Yes, 14 car, and I believe the 4 are also the race currently right now due to some sort of, I'm guessing, connection issues.
Very well could be. That's what my guess would be because Mike was running in the 3rd position in that number 4 machine.
Yes,
no reason for him to disconnect. And Jason trying to work his way through the field as well when he left the race. So unfortunate to see 2 Stewart-Haas racing cars out of this event. Both of them very competitive drivers.
2 teammates out together. That's never a good look, but there's always the rest of the season. These guys have a long season ahead of these guys. It's just only race 2. They have a long season ahead of them. And there's a lot of opportunities to catch up and make their ways back into this. And when it comes down to the last 2 races, maybe, 3 or whatever before the playoff, understandable. But right now, you have enough time. It's just the beginning of the season. Don't stress it. You're going to do good in the rest of the races, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Something to take note of for these guys. It looks like the number 9 machine getting ever closer to Fluffy as these tires start to wear out and these guys start to get just a little bit slower on the racetrack. Now Max Boost behind the number 9 machine running in third. These guys both running down Fluffy in that fifth third bank, number 17 Ford Mustang.
As Big D, like you said, is running him down. Big D Destroyer, guys. His car, it looks more of a long run. It looks like he might be able to challenge the 17. He might be the only one so far, and let's not knock the 17. Not 17, sorry. Let's not knock the 77. He could be a challenger as well. Like you said, he's right behind these guys. This is looking to be a very, very shaping up for a battle of the lead. A 17 looks to be a little bit loose coming off of that turn.
He might have to do some work on pit road with that car in the later run to tighten it up a little bit. It looks like he's getting a little too close to the wall for comfort, and the right rear tire is sliding around a little more than I'm sure he would hope for. And right now, Big Destroyer sitting right on the rear bumper cover as they come out of turn number 4.
As we come to the start and finish line, the 17 looks to be in the wall, guys.
Oh, and it looks like
yes, he is around. The 17 car has spun around.
Oh, and it looks like, unfortunately, that wreck did him in. Fluffy disconnects from the event. Unfortunately, it looks like he now sits on pit road.
That's a bummer. That's a bummer for him. He had a strong car. He had enough car to win, and that's a complete bummer.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate to see. You gotta wonder whether that happened by accident or not there for him to disconnect from this race. Definitely would be frustrating to wreck out of this event after running up front for nearly all of its entirety, but something to keep in mind, these guys, they have great short run setups, but that long run speed might not be there. This is where you see some of the best drivers shine, like Max Boost, like Big Destroyer and that number 9 machine, and definitely like we're seeing right now out of the number 6 as well in his rash
the 38
racing.
car is about to go a lap down in Slade, guys. He's going a lap down to the 9 car, as well as the 2 car. He's hitting pit road.
Looks like pit strategy might become a little bit of a factor. These guys might be deciding to split this stage, as it is 78 laps long, so maybe deciding they want to pit twice. Some of these guys might try to stretch the fuel just a little bit to make it on one stop because they know they'll be good on tires. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys decide to do as the race goes along on pit lane.
And the more and more cars that fall out of this race, the easier it's going to be for the other competitors, because now it comes down to, yes, we can pit, but now there's less cars that we have to deal with. So if we do pit on a caution comes out, we're not losing all this track position. We're only losing like about half of that now. The field is dimming as the race goes on. And that's going to play also a key role into this race, as I believe the 8 car is hitting the pit road right now.
The 8 car is on pit road. Slade is also on pit road. The number 38, the number 6, who is running in 3rd position, came on to pit lane. Also, you see Birdster there, the number 2 of MJO, like we saw. Jose is on pit lane. Just a slew of race cars just getting onto pit road right now.
Just getting that strategy time. It's getting to that point in time. As I think the 20 car is making its way as well on the pit road, and the Cola Motorsports Toyota Camry for Joe Gibbs Racing.
It looks like the number 9 of Big Destroyer, who was battling up there for the lead with the number 77. He's on pit lane as well. So's the 88 and the 37 of K-Taddy Giggity. All on pit lane this time around.
A lot of green flag pit stops, my man.
Absolutely.
A lot of green flag pit stops. It's going to play a lot of strategy roles, and it's not even just in this stage. That could carry over to the next stage as well. So we really don't know about how this is going to work.
Yeah, absolutely. It's hard to find a good camera angle of on-track action right now. Everyone seemingly on pit lane at the moment. Can't find any battles. Looks like Max Boost has hit pit lane, and the number 77 Advent Health Chevy Camaro as well. Look to see whether he can get out ahead of the number 9 machine, who was ahead of him a little bit earlier on before they decided to make their way to pit lane.
As we do see the 77 just now leaving his well, he is actually still on his box. He is leaving now. The 9 car is coming down the back straightaway. Can the 9 seal the deal and get the lead back from the 77, if he even has it?
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be tough to tell right now. You saw the number 6 running way further back than he was before, and now the 77 just on the apron trying to re-enter the Speedway. It looks like Big Destroyer is going to get back out ahead of him for the moment.
The 6 car is also closing in. This race changed dramatically. The race was focused on the 17, and now with his issues, it is now shifted to basically the 9, the 77, and I wouldn't even go as far as way to say the 6. The 6 has a lot of speed in his car. He's shown it, and he's been in the top 5 the entire race. So don't count him out as well.
Yeah, definitely a very, very consistent driver there in that Roush Racing Ford Mustang. It looks like Big Destroyer might have gotten in the wall just a tad bit coming out of turn number 2 there a second ago in his Kelly Blue Book Chevy Camaro. Look to see whether that can affect him over the course of the long run, and whether max boost on 1 lap fresher tires could catch up to him here in the near future.
Yes, it could. Fresher tires mean you're going to go faster. And these older tires, guys, they're gonna try to push as hard as they can on the older tires, and it all depends on who pitted first. You pitted earlier, you're gonna make up lap time in the beginning, but as the laps go on, you're gonna show your wear because you were out that extra lap, that extra 2 laps before they pitted. That's gonna show you right there towards the end. At the beginning of the run, you're not gonna see it. Obviously, 9 car pitted a little bit earlier. He's gonna have that speed over the 77. But I guarantee you, as the run goes on, the 77 might pick up just a little bit here and there. He might not be able to catch him, but he might pick up here and there.
Yeah, we're looking right now on camera, a battle for 4th between Mopowa Celtics in the 88 and the number 10 of Cola Motorsports. It looks like he got into the outside wall there coming out of 4, but these guys pitted on the exact same lap, battling for 4th position right now on the racetrack to try and go and get a crack at the top 3, but Cola struggling right now to get up to him.
Cola's car looks just a little bit too loose, as well as Power's car. Power Celtics, his car is a little bit on the tight side. It's not, you don't see him going directly towards the apron or towards the bottom of the racetrack. He's a little bit of a groove above. You can't really get it down there. And that showcases that his car is just a tad bit tighter than he wants it to be. And maybe he wants it to be that tight. Maybe he does. But he's making lap time over the 20 car. The 20 car, he looks a little bit loose, but he's slowly trying to come back on that 88.
Yeah, after hitting that wall, it's going to be tough. But Cola running in the top 5 right now, doing everything he can, and then just a slew of race cars behind this group, all battling for position at the moment. K-Taddy, Giggity, the number 48 of Runner, the number 96, the 10 of Birdster, all right there, battling with one another for position, jockeying with one another, and trying to get a leg up on the competition.
This one is Brennan in the 95. Looks to be struggling a bit today. Fellow teammate right there.
Yeah, Brennan currently running in 13th in that number 95 Procore Toyota Camry for Levine Family Racing. Look to see whether he can improve that car as the run goes along.
Starting to come down to who's faster and who's not, and we are honestly starting to see which cars are the fastest cars. And I believe those 2 Chevrolets, the 9 and the 77, they are looking very, very fast. But if you get a late restart in this race, you never know. The 6 car looks really good too. He just can't keep up with them guys at the same speed of pace. I honestly think his car might be a little bit of a short run car, and these guys have a longer run car. So I don't believe he's going to be able to catch him now, but towards the end of this race, you never know what can happen. That 6 car is looking very good.
Absolutely. We're going to take a quick break up here in the booth, ladies and gentlemen, here in the Diamond State 200 at Dover International Speedway. When we get back, the end of stage number 2 is on the horizon. The number 17 is out. The number 9 and the number 77 of Max Boost and Big Destroyer in a battle for the lead. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here in the Valor Racing League in the Diamond State 200 at Dover International Speedway. And now, the Hendrick Motorsports Chevy Camaro and the number 9 machine and the Spire Motorsports number 77 Chevy Camaro battled in a lock as they get ready to continue to go around here towards the end of stage number 2, battling for the lead here at Dover.
I'm having a little bit of connection issues over here with my server. I backed out, but as of right now, I can see, focus off of his stream, I can see the 9 cars out front. The 77 is on him right now. I don't believe the 77 can pass, and that 9 is looking really strong. They're both hogging that inside lane. It's going to really come down to who's going to overdrive that turn first.
Absolutely, and the 9 trying to defend, more likely to do so, but the 77 could get some front-end damage if he gets into the rear bumper cover of the number 9. We saw Slade getting a wreck there in the number 38 machine. It looks like he is able to continue on, at least for the moment, and make his way off of turn number 2 with a very damaged race car. Looks to be a couple laps down once this is all said and done. And the number 22 of Jocko, in a quick update while we were away, he left the event in his Pennzoil number 22 Ford Mustang after getting involved in an incident, so he's decided to leave. And now that leaves the focus back on Big Destroyer and the number 77 of Max Boost as they battle for the lead here at the Monster Mile.
Big Destroyer is looking very fast right now, guys. That car is looking good. 9 and 77 are outstanding in this field. The 17 was obviously the primary target, but now it's come down to these 2 cars. It reminds me of kind of a Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr. kind of deal. You've seen that they were the 2 fastest cars the whole race, and then when they wrecked out, it was open field. It was open for anybody. So now I feel like it's the same exact thing that's kind of going. If these 2 go out the field or in anything problem-wise, or if they get shuffled back, this could be an opportunity for someone in the rest of this field to cap a win today.
Absolutely. These guys already on lap number 65 of 78 here in stage number 2. 15 cars still on the lead lap as the other 5 have all disconnected from the event. As we continue to go along here in stage number 2, reaching towards the end, it looks like the number 77 has backed off of Big Destroyer just a small bit now, seeing whether maybe he has something for the end of the run or whether he really used up all of his stuff getting up to that number 9 machine.
I know based off of how the 77 is, and I've even had a conversation with him, and I know based off of how he is, I believe he might just be trying to catch him, just save his stuff a little bit, and realize if he really wants to stage, he's not going to beat him right now. And maybe, just maybe, he could also bank on that lap car that they could possibly catch. Not saying they are, but if they could catch him, that could also play a role depending on which line he takes.
Absolutely, that makes a ton of sense, and you got to look at that car up there, the number 2 discount tire Ford Mustang for Penske Racing. That is MTO, also known as Mateo Ortiz, who's currently running in the 15th position. Look to see whether he becomes a factor here and who could decide stage number 2 here in the Diamond State 200 at Dover. Continuing on a little bit of a look through the field here. Baronet 02 still sits in 3rd in that number 6 guaranteed rate Ford Mustang. Cola finally was able to get 4th away from Celtics in that number 20 TRD machine, and now he is closing on Baronet here towards the end of stage 2. And currently Celtics in that number 88 Acronis machine runs in 5th.
This top 5 are the fastest 5. We've seen them coming throughout the entire field, if not starting up front, but we've seen them coming through the field. 77 is a prime suspect. He started dead in the back of the pack, and now look at him in 2nd place, possibly going for a stage win, if not going for the race win. We have a bunch of cars. We got the 20 car. He fought his way back up to the top 5. We have the 6 car. He fought his way back up to the top 5. And honestly, I don't even say he's fought his way back up. He's been in the top 5. And now we have the 88 in the top 5. He was basically like that 7th to 8th car in the lineup, and now he's showcasing a little bit of speed. We got a couple guys out here that could win this race if it comes down to restarts. And that's one thing we haven't seen today. We've had a couple cautions, but not any major restarts. So then in a race, you never know. It's Dover. Overtime is a thing here. It could be a thing.
Absolutely. We've seen it happen in the NASCAR Cup Series quite a few times in the past, and now we'll get a chance to maybe see an overtime restart, decide who could win this race here today in the Pocono Raceway Cup Series here in the Valor Racing League. As we continue to move along, you can see that number 77 continuing to back off just a little bit. Some of the lap traffic coming up here, battling with one another, as you see Slade in the number 38 machine going up there and trying to get alongside, I believe, the number 78 of Jose. In his Christensen Arms, number 78, Chevy Camaro. Haven't talked much about him today. Hasn't been too much of a factor, but I'm sure he'll make some adjustments to that machine to try and get that car more tuned up to the racetrack for stage number 3.
These guys are going around to close out the rest of the stage here, and they're going to finish it out as it looks to still be green, yes, but it's going to show this stage really, I mean, like it comes down to stage races for me. I've always said this before. Stage racing, you know, it really doesn't matter to me unless you want points. It really doesn't matter. If you're trying to go for stage win, that's cool, but if you're in the back, now you're preparing for the rest of the race. You're not worried about the stage now. You're worried about what can I do to get up front for the rest of the race.
Yeah, that holds extreme importance. And something else to note here, that number 9 of Big Destroyer, just like you mentioned, he's got a very fast machine, was able to hold off the 77, who had a lap of fresher tires than he did, was able to hold him off in the front, but now he's coming up on lap traffic. Will they be lenient towards him, or will they try and hold him off as the stage is coming to a close to hold on to their lead lap spots here with just a few laps to go in stage number 2? Looks like the number 9 is going to get underneath MTO heading into the corner, but clip the apron, slid up the track, and here comes Max Boost in that number 77 machine. Looking low coming out of turn number 2 as they dive into corner number 3. Now it looks like Big Destroyer is able to hold on to it as they drive out of turn number 4. Just a couple of laps to go. It looks like they are coming into lap 78 of the stage, unless that was the final lap of the stage for this group, and it very well could have been. Looks like it is, and the caution flag flies now officially as these guys make their way across the line to finish up stage number 2. Your winner, Big Destroyer, the 77 in second. We'll look to see where the rest of these guys finished in the stage momentarily here in the Valor Racing League.
Come down to the end of the stage, guys. It is looking to be that the 9 car, I believe, got the stage win. I'm watching off the stream. I'm sorry, Jimster. I am watching off your stream because I don't have mine up anymore. I knocked my hard drive over, so I am watching from your stream now, and I'm a little bit delayed. But it seems to be that I think the 9 car might have gotten the stage win.
Looks like he definitely did. We'll look in just a second to see who snagged the stage 2 victory and where the top 10 sit in just a minute. But for the moment, we definitely have a winner and a second place confirmed. It looks like your winner for stage number 2, the number 9. Second place car, the number 77 of Max Boost. As we move along now to the beginning of stage number 3, the final stage here in the Diamond State 200. Koala, take it away.
Let's go back to the restart here. We got guys, we got the 9, we got the 77, and we're going green here at Dover.
Heading down into corner number 1, you see the 77 trying to hold strong on the outside. Big Destroyer almost gets him up into the wall. Coming out of 2, finally is able to clear him as they head down into corner number 3. The Ally Bank Tower holding strong up top of the Speedway and allowing fans to get another look as these guys get down back towards turn number 1.
As the Ally Bank, like he says, shouts to Jimmy Johnson's former sponsor and now the new Alex Bowman sponsor. He will be driving the new 48 car, not barely new, but new driver in the 48 car for the 2021 season.
Max Boost in the 77 hit the wall coming out of turn number 2, battling for 3rd place with the number 6 of Baronate. It looks like Baronate's moved back to 4th. Celtics has taken 3rd in the number 88, and Max Boost, now with some right side damage on that number 77 Advent Health machine, has fallen back to 5th. We'll look to see whether he can recover here at the beginning of stage number 3. It could keep him from having a shot at winning here today at Dover.
9 car stays out front. He's got the car to beat. His car is very fast, but I've been watching that 20. And that 20's been creeping. He's been creeping and creeping every so often. Ever since he got into that incident that set him back, he's been creeping. And now he is up to 2nd. Watch out for that 20 car. And let's not go anywhere because Mo Power Celtics watch out for him too. He's also in that area. These guys are showing that they got the speed, and the 77 is going to have to work his way around 3, possibly 4 if he's going for the lead of the fastest cars in this race right now.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's something to take note of now. He's got work to do to get back up towards the leader. Cola Motorsports sitting in second in that number 20, has a good setup underneath him. Look to see if he can make a challenge for the lead for the moment. And something else quick just to take note of, that number 96 machine, Jaw, that we mentioned earlier, got involved in a wreck,
yes,
was running in the back of the field.
I was ready to say that.
Now running up in 6th position. What do you think of his run so far today, making a great recovery?
Ja I've been watching him when I was watching him on my part of the stream. In the back, like you said, he had a little bit of trouble in the beginning of the race, and now he's in 6th place. I'm not going to say quite yet that he has the car to get up to the front and win, but if he can pull away from this 37 and actually get down to the 77, catch the 88 and pass them, we might have the car to beat today. We might have to watch out for him too, especially because he was in the back. That's what's going to showcase. The 77 was in the back, but the 96 ended up back there because of damage. And now he's fighting his way back up there. And that's showcasing a lot. Showcasing his car's got a lot of speed.
Absolutely. One thing to take note of for these guys, the longer they are into the race and a mistake is made, the harder it's going to be to recover from. So to see him get in a wreck late in Stage 1, early on in Stage 2 that set him back, and now to see him running up close to the top 5, absolutely showing a lot of his talent and speed that he has underneath the hood of that number 96 Toyota Camry today here at Dover. Someone to look out for if he ends up running in the top 5 or even up in the top 3 as we get down to the closing stages of this one.
I will say this, sleeper pick, I'm going to pick the 96 car as my sleeper because like you said, he's showcasing a lot of speed, and like I pointed on, he was in the back and he had damage. He got in a couple of accidents as a couple cautions happened earlier, but now he's in the 6th position and he's making a little bit of gains. But if I had a sleeper pick, that's my sleeper. I would go with the 96 car to showcase and shock us all with a W tonight.
All right, you heard it from Koala first. The number 96, his underdog pick. You could call him a dark horse if you wanted to here at Dover. Trying to make up some ground on that number 77 machine of Max Boost in 5th. And someone holding the inside line just as well is Cola Motorsports in that number 20, TRD Toyota Camry, right now running down the number 9 of Big Destroyer and trying to take a look inside for the lead as they come out of turn number 4.
He is running him down very, very fastly. He's on his bumper basically now. The gap was a little bit bigger. I do believe the 20 car might be able to beat this 9 car if this run keeps going. But we all got to remember, if this green flag pit stops, that's going to play a key factor. And this stage is the longest of the 3. So this is going to play a key role into how the outcome of this race is going to come. If it stays green, the strategy is going to fly. If it comes caution after caution, we all know who could have we really don't know who has that short run speed. Basically, we haven't seen that short run car yet. We've only seen long runs, so we don't really know who could actually pull off a short run. As the 77 looked to got into the 6 car just a little bit behind.
77 got into the 6 ever so slightly, and that caused both of them to fall back a little bit, give Celtics some room to breathe, and puts Jaw on that number 96 machine within striking distance of Max Boost as they make their way out of turn number 2. Oh, and it looks like the 20 of Cola.
Go ahead, Jim, sir. I'm sorry.
You're all good. The 20 of Cola might have an issue here. In that number 20, it looks like he just fell out of 2nd place, and it looks like now he's falling back. And the number 9 did as well. It looks like he's fallen back now, and in a surprise move, Mo Power Celtics and the number 88 Acronis machine has taken the lead away from Big Destroyers. They make their way into turn number 3.
Yes. Mo Power is showcasing he's making the less mistakes out of all of them in this pack. Obviously, he got that lead because he's not making those mistakes. And that 77, he's fast, but I don't believe he's faster than that 88. I believe that the order of the fastest cars are the 9, the 20, and then the 88. But since the 88 is so far ahead, he's ahead of the 20 now. All he has to do is maintain that 9. I do believe he might have a little bit more speed than the 9. But so far, I mean, the 9 car, he just needs to regather himself. He might be able to come back and get that lead.
Absolutely, something to look out for. Not sure quite what happened to cause the 9 to fall to second and for P. Cola to fall all the way to fifth. We saw Cola on the apron heading into turn number 3 before he merged back up with traffic. Now is going to try to fend off Jaw from trying to get him into a top 5 spot. I guess if we could almost keep seeing these dark horse performances. Oh, the number 9 in a wreck hard in the inside wall. Cola involved.
Oh. 9 car is involved. Cola is involved as well. Guys, this is not going to look good. And I believe, if we want to say, I believe that was either a controller function or a internet function. He just turned hard left out of nowhere. I believe that might have been an issue with him at that point in time. I don't believe he would just turn left at the end of the straightaway like that. So I do believe it might have been an issue with him. But now that eliminates the 9 and that slows the 20 car back also, this is going to open up the playing field for a lot of drivers.
Absolutely. Sitting on lap 140 of 200 right now. That's going to take the 20 of P. Cola. A lot of repairing to do in that machine as well. Definitely as the number 9. So with that, now we have the number 88 of Celtics in the lead. Max Boost back up within striking distance of the lead. The number 6 runs in third. Jaw in fourth, and now a new face in fifth. That is the number 8 machine, who we have yet to see very much of today after he was involved in an accident earlier on. MJO getting his lap back, and now it looks like a run of the dark horses, guys that were involved in wrecks early, now running up near the lead. What do you think of that?
This race is Dover, and how many times has Dover ever played out to a dark horse winning the race? As a, I think I could think of a race, and I feel like Joey Logano might have run that race. It was an Xfinity Series race, or at that point in time, Nationwide Series race, and it played out kind of the same way. He had like Cup guys in the race, and they were dominating, and he was like the top Xfinity driver at that time, and then it all played out for him, and he ended up being towards the front and capped off a win there. So I believe this is exactly what's falling into play. The only drivers that I have a really, really worry about, like, not underdog, I would say the 77. He's 77, and I don't even give it a 6. Those two right there, they have that pick where they could showcase they got the speed. But if we, like I said, the 96, man, I picked the underdog, and I stay with my underdogs. 96 is going to be that guy today.
All right, we'll look to see whether Jaw can make the move for the lead, whether he's got something for these guys on pit road, maybe a strategy call, or maybe just has a quick pit crew there with the Gaunt Brothers machine. We'll look to see what happens with him as these guys now start to make their way off of pit lane. Max Boost out ahead of the rest of this group. We'll see whether he comes out ahead of the former leader. In a deadlock.
Go ahead, Jim, sir. I'm sorry.
No, you're all good. No problem. It looks like in a deadlock as they came out of pit lane. It looks like the 77 of Max Boost 27 snagged the lead away from Celtics coming off of pit lane.
Celtics. 77 is first. Celtics. These guys, look, it's a battle of the double digits. And then out of those two, I'm going to give it the 77 because he's got the speed to showcase. But we don't know. We don't really know. These guys were competing against the 9. They were competing against the 17. They're competing against the 20, as you pointed out. And now they're out of the equation. So now it is literally an open playing field again, as it was towards stage in the middle of stage 2.
Yeah, almost deja vu compared to what we had earlier on in the race. Similar circumstances leads to some similar great racing for these guys. As we saw, the choose rule once again come into effect. Celtics taking a different route than we saw. Not using that inside lane right away in second, but deciding to try and challenge for the lead on the outside.
As you are in second place, I honestly think your best bet is to go the opposite groove that the other driver picks in first. You cannot be in the same groove. It's not going to work. You might be a little bit faster, but if they can hold that bottom, they're going to hold you up, and then just the cars that can go in the bow on the outside. Because obviously, as we can tell, the 8 car is in that 4th position, and he could have been in that 2nd position. He could have been a lot faster as you get ready for green, my man. Go ahead, Jimster.
Absolutely. Coming back down into corner number 1, you see the number 77 of Max Boost get a huge run on that inside line. These guys jockeying for position behind him. Celtics stuck on the outside as it looks like the number 6 machine is going to get a little bit of a chance there and now going to take advantage, gets second away, and here comes the number 8 of Titans. Could be the underdog story of the day as now he moves his way up to 3rd position in that number 8 machine.
He could, as the 96 is starting to slowly fall back just a little bit more. But like you said, the 8 car, he had issues early on in this race, and that showcases you right there. You can have issues on early in this race, but you can recover and get back to where you are currently want to run, or where you want to run in the field. And that's 8 car. He's showcasing that skill right now in 3rd position.
Absolutely. Everyone battling for position in this backpack as well. Everyone from runner to the number 9 of Big Destroyer, the 32, also trying to make his running nose to tail right now, trying to gain a leg up on the other for some points towards the end of this race.
That's what it's coming down to now. If you're not going for race wins, you're going for max points now. And most people don't realize points play a factor in a lot of things. And in fact, it's playoffs. The points play a lot of factors. The more points you get, the better chance you are of advancing in the playoffs. Right now, these guys are trying their hardest. Yeah, they're going to be beating and banging. You're sitting there thinking they're back there in 13th, 14th position. Why are they fighting each other? But that's an extra point that could be valuable towards the end of the season.
Absolutely. We saw earlier this year in the NASCAR Cup Series, Jimmy Johnson missed the playoffs by just 4 points after the Daytona race if it wasn't for William Byron's win. So anything is possible here with just a couple more points. So they're going to fight tooth and nail for every single point that they can get here towards the end of a race. Now, we do have to remember there's still another green flag pit stop left to go in this one.
Yes, sir.
And possibly even 2. So how much of an impact does that make on the field position as well?
If you really want me to be honest, I don't think it really makes it a big deal. I believe I think it's just an option. It's out there.
All right, definitely something to think about, though. Yeah, an option for these guys to try and maybe take a little bit of pit strategy.
Yes, the pit strategy is definitely an option here. But like you said, they could do 1 or 2. And I've known, based off of what I've been told over these past couple days about these cars, you can stretch out this fuel a lot more than what it's saying. So it could be 1 stop, it could be 2 stops, it could be more than 1 or 2 stops, because we could get that late race, caution, those like that last 10 lap caution, that last 5 caution, that 2 lap to go caution. And right now, we're sitting here thinking that this could go all the way, but we never really know, especially at Dover. Dover gives a lot of problems to a lot of drivers in any series. So this is going to be an honestly very shaken out race. We're going to see who goes. The 77 currently, though, showcasing the speed out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Something to take note of here. That number 8 machine fell back quite a bit. Now Jaw in the number 96 machine, as well as the number 8 of Celtics, now fighting that number 6 machine, running up in second to try and get a chance to get by Baronate, as it looks like the 88's got a little bit of an opening now to try and take advantage.
Yes, the 88 does, and is the 88 gonna take the advantage? Is the complication? Is right now he will be there. Don't know if he's gonna get the pass. 96 car is gonna be there. 96 is also there coming in inside. 88 clear, 96 is clear. I am also 15 seconds behind, so I'm sorry, but
you are all good. No worries, my man. It looks like right now the number 88 takes away second. Jaw is in third. Baronate moves back to fourth, and Titans is falling back to fifth.
Titans car, guys, is number 8. It's good, but I don't know what his call was. I think he's setting up for a late race caution, I believe, because he's not showcasing the exact same speed as the other guys. But that 77, he's got some speed. And like you said on the top of the show, when you said he didn't make qualifying really doesn't matter to a guy that has that type of skill right now. And he can make it through the field, and he knows how to get through the field. And look at him now in the first position.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make the first 2 qualifying runs. We'd hoped to see him make some, but based on the way he's been racing the last 2 weeks, a second place finish last week at Auto Club, and now with a chance to snag a win here, it doesn't look like it's affecting him too much.
Yes, 77. He's hungry, man. He was hungry last week. We all saw how that finish went. He was hungry last week, and he wanted to get that win. He didn't have the run that he could to get that win. This week, he came in here showing, guys, we got the speed, we got the car, and we're going to showcase against these other guys that we can do this. And that's exactly what he's doing, and that's 77 Advent's health.
For sure. Now we saw the number 17 leave this race earlier on in the event. The number 9 also not a factor now that he's been mired far back in the pack, battling in some traffic. Not quite sure if he's running even in the top 10 right now or not, but one thing we do know is that when all the competition has been cleared out, there is nobody better than Max Boost here at Dover.
Yes, sir. Max Boost knows exactly what he's doing. He's literally like Martin Truex Jr. He's a strategist. He knows how to be honestly, I would compare him more to Harvick. He's a closer. He knows exactly where to be at that point in time when it comes towards the end of the race. Like, he knows to be in the top 5 when it comes down to the end of the race. He knows to be in second or first when it comes down to the end of the race. And that last pit stop right there could be the one that showcases he has that dominant speed. And that this call right here, this strategy, this adjustments on that car could have made it better. And this could be the winning driver right here. But as we've seen in the first 2 stages, 17 dominated the first stage, 9 car dominated the second stage, and now where are they both at? In the back of the field. We cannot sit there and say 77 is going to possibly win, because maybe Deja Vu hits again for the 3rd stage.
Yeah, absolutely something to take note of for sure. The 77 machine working around corners number 1 and 2 with a battle for second still going on between Jaw and the number 88 of Celtics. These guys now have just 39 laps remaining here in the Diamond State 200 at Dover International Speedway. Max Boost has been the story for today, coming from the back to the front again. Will anyone be able to challenge him here, as the last round of green flag pit stops are coming up here in the next 10 minutes?
'77's looking really strong here, guys. I mean, I don't... Speed-wise, he's got it. I don't believe anybody's got him, but pit stops are going to play a factor for a fact right now. And we all know at Dover, track position is key, especially going down pit road on a green flag pit stop. If you're in first, your best bet is to pit as fast as you can to run down those guys that are on the track longer. In the 77, I kind of understand his strategy a little bit. I've been watching his cameras a little bit longer than Jimster has, and he's been showcasing that he could possibly pull some strategy and, you know, pit a little earlier, run these guys down. And I honestly think the 77 can go longer on his tires than anybody else in this field right now.
He showcased that earlier on in stage number 2. We only had 1 stop in stage 2, and he was able to last 1 lap longer than every single other driver in the field. So that shows that he's got the ability to save just a tiny bit, even with a very, very quick race car. Will that translate over to being able to maybe take 2 tires instead of 4 on this next stop and final stop, hopefully, of the day? Will he try and do something different on pit road than the rest of these guys? Or do you think that he's just going to try and stick it out, take 4 tires, knowing he's got some good speed under the hood of that car, and just try and win it outright?
I mean, if he's thinking as a driver, he would think more of how big of his gap is. His gap is maybe a second. It's no longer than 2 seconds. It's not past a second and a half. It might be a second. He's got to calculate that as well. And if they stay out, yeah, they might be running a little bit slower, but can he run them down? Yeah, he's showcased he has the speed, but can he get through traffic, run them down as everybody's doing green flag pit stops? That is one thing that's going to play a key factor. I'm not saying he can't. It's just one thing that drivers need to know. And I mean, Max Boost, he's a good driver. He knows what he's doing. And based off of his gap, I don't think he's trying to showcase more than when he needs to. I think he's trying to show these guys, you know, I got a good car. I'm going to manage my gap instead of trying to pull away. Because as we saw earlier, the 17 pulled away, and he pulled away to a big gap. And I want to say the 9 did the same thing as well. And the 77 is not doing as big of a gap as they were.
Yeah, he's definitely showing he had good short run speed. It looks like something happened to John, the number 96 machine, who was running in 3rd, seemingly disappear right off of our screens, looking to see what happened to him.
The 96 looks to be going down pit road, I believe, right now. That's the one angle that Jimster had for me for a second. I think the 96 is heading to pit road, though. Don't know what the problem is. He might be pitting. He might be short pitting. He might be trying to. He might know he can make it to the end of this race right here, and this might be his shot right here if it stays green. I think the 96 is thinking like an underdog. He's banking on this race to go green.
And that is something that a lot of these guys will try to do at different times at different races, and one thing that I think might be playing into the 96's advantage if he's coming down here to take 4 tires and make it to the end of the race without having to stop again as you see him go a lap down there, is that he has to worry about these guys in lap traffic. These other guys who are in lap traffic may be posing a threat to the leaders, but it looks like as the caution flag possibly is flown here, that he won't have to deal with lap traffic, but that could all change.
As I think there's a caution out. Yes, it is, Jimster. Like you said, there is a caution out right now. This is going to change up so much strategy right now, and it could play in the 96 hands. Like I said before, like you said, he's only a lap down, but those extra tires could help. Not really now that I realize he is a lap down. I don't believe they can because the rest of the field is going to pit. But could there be any 2-tire calls? Do we see anybody trying to pull a strategy call, Jimster?
It's very tough. I'm not sure that anyone's going to try and take 2 tires here because they know how fast these leaders are. You can get quickly eaten up without those left sides giving you the grip, but it'll be interesting to see. I don't know how many laps down that 96 was on pit lane. If he was only 1 lap down, he'll likely restart here in the rear of the field if he does get the free pass or if he gets the wave around. But something to take note of there, Jaw has basically taken himself out of this one. It'll be very, very tough to see what happens with that 96 machine as he now falls to the rear of the field from 3rd. A tough break for him.
Yes, it is a very tough break from 96. He looked like to be the sleeper pick, the underdog, but now that this caution threw everything off, and that was a primary thing I said, the caution right there. If it would have stayed green, it was going to fit in his favor, but we obviously knew this is Dover. Cautions are going to come out towards the end of the race, and now things are going to ramp up a lot higher. I don't expect to see whoever is in the lead off of pit road to be the winner of this race.
Yeah, that could very well be a big thing to focus on. The person who leads coming out of pit road may not be the person that comes out in first position when this race finishes up. Now, something to take note of, the 96 and the 48 machine both just passed the leader on pit road. Not sure whether that was for position or whether that was to gain their final lap back. We'll look to see in just a moment.
Yes, sir, we will, as the pit stops are occurring and everybody is filing out of pit road. Who's going to hit the first position?
It's tough to tell, but it looks to me like the number 77 of Max Boost once again gets the lead coming off of pit lane. The number 88 of Celtics is in 2nd. And a couple of guys that we haven't thought about in a while. The number 9 of Big Destroyer now sitting in the 3rd position. And it looks to me like 4th place could be Jose as those guys came off of pit road. But they are also catching up to a number of other drivers who are sitting out in front of them. So it looks like those guys that pit earlier on may possibly be out in front whenever we get down to the choose rule here in just a moment. The field in a giant shakeup.
Yes, this is strategy. This is not even really strategy at this point. This is the play of the race. This is how Dover goes. There's been countless races. I can even remember when Jimmy Johnson happened to be, he just escaped through, made his way to the end of the race. Caution flew with 1 lap left, and he won that race. This race could come down to that, as last night's race showcased. It could come down to a caution to define who's in first. So you might not want to be in first heading into that first turn. You might want to be in 2nd and have that run going down the backstretch before you get to turn 3 and the rest of the field piles up in the back. You never really know here. These guys are going to do their best. They're going to be aggressive. And now, especially with it being towards the end of the race and so many cars have been eliminated, fast cars have been eliminated especially. Sorry, I want to make sure I say that. This is going to showcase these guys. They're going to pull out, and they're going to do their best, and they're going to sit there and try to get this win today.
Yeah, something to take note of here. Vega Twister 24 and the number 32 hasn't been a factor today in this race, but now he lines up in the 1st position after some pit strategy went his way, and now he is going to have a shot to try and take down the Lions and Tigers that have been battling up front all day long for real estate. Will Vega Twister here, with just about 25 laps to go, have a shot at being able to snag a win away from the rest of the field? We'll find out. Take it away, Koala.
Yes, sir. As they're going down for the green flag, we have the 32 staying out, I believe, trying to pull a strategy call. Like I said, the strategy is going to come down to this race. The 77, the 88, are also in there. 77 and 88, the double numbers. I told you these guys are looking very good. This field's looking very slim as we're green flag, my man.
It looks like the number 32 of Vega Twister not able to take advantage. Might have had some wheel spin on the restart, and that allows the 77 of Max Boost to get right back out front of the rest of the pack as they make their way out of turn number 4 and across the start-finish line once again.
This guy's going to be very aggressive, and this race is going to come down to aggressiveness. 77 is looking fast, showcasing his speed. And with this, this is a short run, in my opinion. I believe there's a short run. 77 might be able to pull this off now that it's a short run. 88's also there. As on his inside is the... Can't really figure out who that is. Hold on one second. I don't know this, but now the 88 is in second place. The 77, the double numbers again, 1-2.
And then it looks like that was Jose in third, and the number 78 machine in his Christensen Arms Chevy Camaro for BJ McLeod Racing. Look to see whether that number 88 machine of Celtics is going to have a shot at getting up to max boost. This race has developed very rapidly, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit to see one more rapid development here as the race continues to move along. Now with just 22 laps remaining here in the Diamond State 200, we're going to take a quick break up in the booth. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to have the last 18 to 19 laps of green flag racing on tap for you as we get ready to crown a winner here in Dover.
Yes.
Back now in Dover, Delaware for the Diamond State 200. My name is James McCombs, and with me in the booth is the one and only Koala. It looks like the caution flag has flown once again here at Dover International
Yes, it
Speedway
has, my man.
for what could very possibly be the final time. What's going to happen this time around after a wreck between Brennanator and the number 95 and the number 37 of K Taddy Giggity brings out yet another caution.
These guys are under caution here, and this is gonna, I mean, strategy. Whether or not to pit, and I know it's not that many laps left, whether or not to pit, whether or not you want to, because it's not that many cars left in this field, so even if you do pit, you have a better chance of getting it through the field. So are all of these drivers gonna actually hit pit road at the same time? That's the one thing we're gonna see here.
And one thing to take note of as well, Vega Twister fell from 1st to 9th on that restart. That was only about 10 laps of green flag racing. So now, with just 15 laps to go, coming to 14, it looks like everyone on track is going to make their way down pit lane. Who takes 2, who takes 4, who maybe takes none, tries to get some track position. We'll find out in just a moment here in Dover.
Pit stops are hitting, man. This is going to be a key stop right here. This could be the last stop of the race. We don't know that. This could be the stop of the race.
Absolutely, the money stop, as they like to call it. And I remember
There
a
you
couple
go,
of
the money
examples.
stop.
I remember a couple examples of money stops being a big deal. I remember Kyle Busch's 2013 win at Texas, the biggest money stop I can remember, as his crew was able to get in and out of 12.4 seconds. We'll look to see what happens off of pit lane here. Looks like 5 cars make their way off of pit road with 2 tires off of the machine, and some others coming out now of pit lane with 4 tires on their race cars looking to try and make an impact. We'll get the lineup for you in just a moment as we get ready to go back green flag racing.
Green flag racing here, man. This is going to be great. It's going to be an awesome start. Let's see how well these guys, how wide they're going to make it here at Dover.
Absolutely. You talked about it earlier, a very, very wide track. And one last thing that I want you to weigh in on before we get into the restart. You were in this race last night. You saw the importance of a last-minute restart. What is it going to take for these guys to get up front and try and challenge Max Boost for the victory?
And is there someone that can challenge Max Boost? Like we said earlier, they were a solid 2 cars that are not now in this race. Honestly, I'd say a solid 3, counting the 20 car. He had a fast car as well. But the 9 and the 17, they both were leading, and they had issues. We're still not, I'm not going to say Deja Vu can't hit twice in a day, but I do believe it can happen twice.
And you talked about the number 9 now sitting up there in second in his Kelly Blue Book machine as they make their way back around Dover, heading towards turn number 3. He sits in second with a chance here to make his way around Max Boost and snag a victory away in what's been a tough day for him. Who's going to score the victory? We'll find out. Take it away, Koala.
As we're heading back to the restart zone, and we're going to eventually hit green now. The 77 and 9 on the front row. The 9 car made his way back up there. Can he steal the show and catch the dub? As well as talking about Deja Vu on him having incidents earlier.
It looks like the number 9 not quite able to get the restart he was hoping for. Max Boost trying to pull away in that 77. It's going to be tough work for Big Destroyer to make his way back up to the front, as now everyone is jostling for position in the back of the field as we make our way back down into turn number 1.
As these guys know, this could be the last restart of the race. As like I said, the field is dimming. These guys are understanding. This could be the last restart. Not saying it is, but it could be. And the 77 is pulling away. 9 cars making headway as the 88 and 3rd.
Absolutely, these guys are going to be pushing, and 2 Hendrick teammates sitting in 2nd and 3rd. You think that draft might be a little bit of a factor right now for these guys trying to make their way up to Max Boost?
If these guys are going to play it smart and they want to catch him, that is their best bet. But we all know, we're all drivers, we all know how this is. When we come down to situations, we don't care about the driver in front of us. We care about getting around that driver in front of us. And that all depends on if those 3 drivers, and I would even say the 96 can count as 4, those 4 drivers want to catch him. And if there's a 4th driver, they're going to catch him a lot faster than the 77 think they're going to. And this 96, he's closing in on that gap. The 9 is also showing on the 77. These guys are starting to move up just a little by little.
And they're trying their very best. Now lap 193 of 200. Counting down the laps as we finish up what has been a spectacular event here today at Dover International Speedway. And we'll look to see whether Max Boost can hold on and score his first victory of the season after coming up just inches short last week at Auto Club. Looks right now like the number 9 machine falling back just a little bit. Big Destroyer may not have the car to be able to get back up to the 77. It's going to take a huge push here in the last couple of laps for him to have a shot at victory as they make their way off of turn number 4.
And that all portrays into how those 4 run. The top 5 are within a second. It all portrays on how 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th want to go together. If they feel like they're their best bet to catch the winner, the current leader of this race right now, that is their best bet. But if they are thinking about points, if they're thinking about just trying to go for the win themselves and don't need help, that also plays a role. 77 though, that gap is gaining, but I do believe the 9 car might be inching back. These guys might be pulling a little bit of help. They're trying to work with each other to get back up to that 77. They might realize they're not as fast as him singly, and they might have to group up on him.
Yeah, this is going to be tough to see. Unfortunately, not one of these mile-and-a-half or even 2-mile tracks where we can see the draft play a huge role on trying to capture and close up on the leader and try to capture the lead away for themselves. It looks like right now Max Boost has just a tiny bit more speed, maybe an extra 2 or 3 horsepower.
Max Boost is looking good
Under the hood of that race car, and we'll see whether that can lead him to victory. Just 4 laps remaining as these guys head into turn number 3.
4 laps, coming to 3 to go, my man. The 77 looking stout, but as we saw last night, the car, whoever was in the lead was inches, I mean maybe a foot away from the flag stand, and the caution came out. So we have to keep that into counter as well.
Absolutely something to take note of. Coming back around now, 2 to go as they come out of turn number 4 and cross the start-finish line. It's been a great day for the number 77 machine. The Spire Motorsports team has done a great job trying to push that race car as far as they can, and with a little bit of help from the number 17's exit as well as some trouble from the number 9 who tried to make a late comeback, it looks to me like the number 77's got no more competition as it comes out of turn number 4 to take the white flag. Sponsored by Credit One Bank.
Yes, sir. Sponsored by Corner One Bank, which is also a fellow sponsor, the closest sponsor to Advent Health, who the guy is in first place is going to win the race on. Advent Health car coming to the checker flag right now, guys.
Indeed, coming out of turn number 4. As he makes his way out of the corner now, the number 77 is going to cross the start-finish line knowing he is finally a victor here in the Valor Racing League Pocono Raceway Cup Series here in Dover. Congratulations to Max Boost, your second place finisher today, the number 9 of Big Destroyer, and the number 88 Acronis, Hendrick Motorsports Chevy Camaro, finishing in 3rd in tonight's event. That is Celtics. Congratulations to him. Those 3 guys finished
to those
top
podium guys.
Absolutely. We saw Jaws, the number 96, able to get by the number 8 machine of Titans to take home 4th, something that you mentioned, someone to take note of for sure.
Yes, for a factor. He finished in the 4th position. He had the speed earlier. I don't think he had the right setup towards the end of the race, but he finished in that 4th position and looked very good doing it. And like I said, guys, they were trying to catch the 77, but that 77 was just too fast for them. And once he took that lead earlier on, no one had competition against him. So congrats to Max Boost right there, guys.
Yeah, did a great job in today's event. These guys have definitely put on quite a show for us, but the show's not over quite yet. You guys are going to want to make sure you stay on after, because we have some post-race interviews coming up in just a moment with the top 3 finishers of today's event. Once again, congratulations to everyone who participated in the race today. And great job by all the drivers. Alright, sounds good. Whoever you bring in, I'll be good for. Alright, absolutely. Thank you very much. And congratulations to the top 3 finishers. You guys had an awesome race today.
Congratulations, guys.
I want to start out by interviewing the number 88 machine, the 3rd place finisher today, Mo Pow A Celtics. Congratulations on your 3rd place finish. Just want to go over a couple of quick things with you today. You were able to avoid quite a few wrecks during this race, and you showcased quite a bit of speed. Do you think that you had a setup that was capable of winning today?
I have it on, I think. Yeah, I mean, I know we had a good car, but if Fluffy and a couple other guys stay in the race and don't lag out, I don't think we have as good as a chance. But I mean, Max just had a better car than us on the short run, and it kind of, I think we had 15 lap run at the end, and he just pulled away from me in Big D, so we just really couldn't reel him back in. The car was still good, and I feel like I still would have maybe had a top like 6 or 7, but we got lucky with some lag outs and some wrecks, and we brought it home P3.
All right, Koala, what do you got for our third place finisher?
Ooh, I'm sorry.
All good.
88, my man. Look, you were the first double digit, not first, obviously, but you did good, man. Like you said, you didn't have the showcase of speed, but what did you take into consideration, knowing that those top cars were eliminated? How did you know? All right, this might be my chance to actually pull through and get a W. How did what were your strategy calls to try to get that W today?
Well, I mean, there wasn't really coming before all the cautions hit. I was gonna try to run the car a little longer and not really worry about the fuel. But then we had a couple cautions out, and it was just trying to choose the actual proper lane. And I knew I really couldn't do anything on the outside on the restart, so we were just hoping that we could get to good inside lane off the choose cone. But there was a couple restarts where there was kind of a couple mistakes from the guys in front, and we just really couldn't capitalize on it.
And that happens, my man. Look, you did a great job today. You capped off for the third. And if you know, I talked about both you and the 88 and the 77 a lot as the double-digit numbers today. So you did good, my man. Good third place finish.
Thanks.
All right, now we want to take a turn over to our second place finisher today, and a great run by him. That is Big Destroyer in the number 9 Kelly Blue Book machine. I know you had a tough race having to come back from that wreck in the second stage. What did you do in order to make sure that you had a shot to be up front at the end whenever it mattered in order to try and score the W?
Honestly, I mean, it's just you gotta keep your nose clean, go as fast as possible, and don't get collected. I mean, it's unfortunate that we got caught up in something, but while leading second. But it is what it is. I mean, I had to fight back, stay composed, and just fight back through the field. But car was phenomenal. I mean, car was absolutely great. Looking forward to this Sunday in the winter heats for the NASCAR heat. So hopefully we can carry over this momentum and racing against Max again on Sunday.
All right, absolutely. Koala, what do you got for our second place finisher today?
Nothing more than just to say, man, that was a fast car. You showcased a lot of speed earlier in the second stage. I will ask you one thing. You were in second place. Did the 77 just have that extra short run speed that you were missing out on?
Oh yeah, absolutely. He's got a rocket ship winning the first 15-20 laps of that run. I probably should have loosened it up a little bit, knowing we only had that little bit of a run left, but I didn't want to get to the car to the point where I couldn't drive it. Right. So I just wanted to make sure I still had the car under me if I ever got to him. But he just got a rocket ship in that short run. I had no chance, but I gave it all ahead.
Did you expect a late race caution, another caution to come out after that restart?
Yeah, honestly, I did, because you know what they say, cautions breed cautions, and we were all bunched up again. Right. So I figured we would have something at the end. It was just kind of a matter of time when it was going to happen. But yeah, I did expect it.
Well, look, man, you did good today. It's pulling for you with the 9 car. You look fast. You had a good car. Take that on the next week, my man.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, and now on to our race winner, Max Boost in the number 77 Chevy Camaro, Advent Health sponsored for Spire Motorsports. You put on a show today after battling up there for the lead with the 17 before he disconnected. You had a great car all day long, but first, I want Koala to ask his questions and barrage you with everything he's got before I ask you my one and only question.
Max Boost, my man, look, you did very good tonight, especially coming from the back of the pack, not making qualifying. Did that make things a little bit harder for you, or was your car just that fast and that didn't matter to you? Because I honestly believe it didn't matter to you. That's how I feel.
Man, I came in not knowing what my car was going to do compared to everybody else's. So honestly, starting in the back kind of let me use that first stage as like a practice session to see what my car can do.
I hope Deja Vu doesn't hit again where the leader has an incident.
All right, Max Boost. What did you do and be able to hold on to that race car for the stability of the long run? You obviously, like the second place finisher said, you had a rocket ship on the short run. You were able to close up some gaps on the long run. What did you do to that race car that you think might have been different from?
Honestly, man, I have no idea. I like to build my cars where they always last on the long run and they're tight, and then I just build some speed into it. And about halfway through the race, I made a really good wedge and tire pressure adjustment where it was hooked up on the short run and it was hooked up on the long run. And I actually want to shout out Big Destroyer, because I really feel like he had one of the best cars in the field, and those cautions helped me. And unfortunately, he had some misfortune, but the track position was really big. It was really important. I honestly think he had the fastest car, to be completely honest, because he drove away from me in the last 7 laps of a run. But I mean, I don't know, man. I just I got it where it felt good, and then I was able to just driver comfort's huge. It's so huge. So I was able to get it comfortable where I could just give it 100% without any issues, and balance was perfect. I don't even know what to say, man. It was amazing.
All right, well, you surely let your driving do the talking tonight. Congratulations on getting the win tonight here in the Diamond State 200. Make sure to celebrate your entry into the chase well.
Woo! Thanks, man.
Have a good night.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you guys so much.
Alright, congratulations again to those three on a great finish in tonight's race, respectively 1, 2, and 3 on the podium. We've also got Slade in the chat here, if I'm not mistaken. He is the guy who set all this up. He was running earlier on tonight in the number 38 Ford Mustang for Front Row Motorsports. Do you have anything that you want to say about this race, Slade? Something that you noticed about this group that made it feel a little bit more special tonight here at Dover?
We got a special group here at VRL. We really do. A lot of guys committed to being here. Like I said, we had a 20-car field tonight, and that was with, a few guys being last minute and not be able to show up, had something come up. So the field was scheduled to be 26 actually, but 20 cars nonetheless, still very good. In a tough track like Dover, I think as we all know, Dover can be tough, just because how the apron is and how sensitive it is. And stage 1 went caution free. Stage 2, I believe, had 1 caution. And as DC had cautions, do breed cautions, we had a few in stage 3. But overall, I thought it was a fantastic race. Not for myself. That race could not have went any worse for me. Got caught up in one incident that trapped us a few laps down. Then got caught up in another incident that trapped us, I think, a 3rd lap down. And then we just decided to retire the car. But not the point. We're going to just talk about the league in general. League, like I said, very proud of all these guys, everybody, all the admins. We have Big Destroyer. As I said, I DNF'd, if you will, and he took over the reins of being race control and all that. So very nice to have him step up this season and be a very good asset to the team. And Diesel Rothkiv, who cannot be here tonight, him as well, doing a bunch of stuff with our website and our interior stuff. So can't thank them enough, and especially you guys in the booth doing a fantastic job week in, week out. Hopefully everybody watching enjoys the show. We try to put on a fantastic show for you guys week in, week out. That's our main goal is to have clean racing and for everybody to have fun. But our second goal is to put on a show for everybody watching at home. So like I said, can't wait for Atlanta. That should be a really good one for the league in general. And especially for me, I can't wait to get away from Dover. I am. I just want to get away from it as far as possible after tonight.
I believe Slade is over Dover, man. I had high hopes for you, man. I did. Like I had my high hopes running on you, my man. But see, I mean, it happens. It's just a track that most people don't really like. It's just that track, my man.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I didn't want to talk about the driver's standpoint because 16th place finish, DNF, did not deserve an interview. But like I said, qualified second, had high hopes, and then just came in. I believe we had like a 6th place car, 5th place car, and then just I think we got wrecked a total of 4 times tonight by either lag or just someone else's incident. But no worries. Like I said, we'll go into next week. And for myself, but for the league in general, Dover week was a good week, good solid week. But Atlanta should be a lot better. So I be sure to tune in for next week.
It's going to be more intense racing. We all know how Atlanta is for both series, not just one or the other, but both series. Both these guys are going to be running wide open. So it's going to be a very interesting racing. Slade, if I don't see you in the top 5, you might have some problems.
Hey, it just depends on when someone lags in front of me. It's happened 2 weeks in a row. So
You're right, my man. You're right. Wrong place, wrong time. That's what I told him earlier. I said wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, but once again, I'm going to hop out of here. Like I said, 16th place finish does not deserve an interview as long as the winners. So
there you go.
But yeah, like I said, everybody who's tuning in week out supporting us, whether you're wanting to get into the league, driver in the league, or just someone watching at home, thank you for tuning in. You know, it means a lot to us to have the following that we do on Twitter and YouTube and all that. And so hopefully you guys got another 2 days of great racing from us, and we're ready for next week as a league. So be sure to follow us on Twitter as well, at team_VRL.
Yes.
It's our new Twitter, and also got to give a shout out to our sponsors and affiliates. Sponsor the Speedway Collective, a fantasy racing group that sponsors our national series. Make sure to check them out on Twitter at SC Fantasy Racing. And our affiliation with Pocono Raceway, they do, their name is on our Cup Series, as you can tell by the Pocono Raceway Cup Series. Please go give them a shout out. You know, everybody knows who Pocono Raceway is, but be sure to give them some love and support for what they do for us and all that. And I'm going to turn it back over to our 2 great broadcasters, Koala and Jimster.
Alrighty,
thank you, my man. You have a great night, dude.
Alrighty, thank you very much, Slade, and again, congratulations on your finishing position tonight. Hopefully even more improvement to come at Atlanta. With that, I think we've covered just about everything. He took the sponsorship words right out of my mouth, and I don't think that there's
Yeah, I was about to say he beat us both to it. He had me beat.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that, we say goodnight from the Valor Racing League Pocono Raceway Cup Series. My name is James McCombs. Joined with me in the booth tonight is the one and only Koala, and we hope that you guys enjoyed the broadcast. Make sure to like, subscribe. Make sure you guys tune in next week on Monday night and in Tuesday night so you guys can catch more of the National Series and Cup Series action here from the Valor Racing League. From Koala's living room and my own bedroom, we say goodnight from the Valor Racing League.
Good night, guys.